What's up everybody, it's DJ Welliver from LivWel Strength and Conditioning. Today we're talking about mobility, particularly mobility to help improve your squat. All right, first stretch, we're gonna focus on the hip flexor. In a big, wide, split stance, I'm gonna plantar flex this back foot so the toes are down. What I'm gonna do is slide forward as far as I can, feeling a deep stretch in my hip flexor, trying to remain upright. And to add to it, I'm gonna not just reach over my head, but slightly lean away from that stretch side. 1, 2, 3, release, and again. I'm gonna do this 10 times on each side. All right, next we're gonna hit the hamstrings. So from that same position, what I'm gonna do is rock my hips back, but instead of rolling my back forward, I'm gonna try to hinge. So keeping my back flat, hips go back, I rock back, the back stays flat. I'm going to dorsiflex this foot, toes up toward the sky, and I'm stretching the hamstring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax, and again. We're gonna do this 10 times on each side. All right, next is the adductor. So from a tabletop position, I'm gonna stretch one foot as far out as possible. Foot as far away from the knee as possible. And then I'm gonna rock back until I feel a stretch on the inside of the leg. It's the adductor, as well as the groin, a little bit of the hamstring and the hip. Common issue you see with squats is knee valgus or knock knees. It's when the knees come in together, often because of overactive adductors, and it requires corrective stretching. We're gonna do this 30 seconds on each side. All right, next we're gonna unlock the T-spine, thoracic spine, from about the navel to the top of the shoulders, biggest portion of our spine. Your T-spine rotations from a tabletop position, we reach underneath, grab onto the floor, and almost pull yourself forward. Feeling that twist, looking up toward the sky, 4, 5, then grabbing a hold of the back of the head and rotating up toward the sky. Eyes up, elbow up as far up as possible. 4, 5 counts down, and 5 counts up. We're gonna do 5 on each side. right, next is a yogi squat. So I'm gonna line my feet up really as wide as my knees are able to go. I want my ankle to be pretty much directly underneath. Grabbing onto my feet, I'm gonna use my feet as leverage to push out on my knees. And at the same time, I'm gonna rotate my hips, my pelvis in an anterior fashion, butt out. Now with all these combined, you notice my low back stays flat and not rounded. And this can help with the infamous butt wink you see a lot of people have at the bottom of their squat, which is essentially just flexion in the lumbar spine. Holding this for about 30 seconds. I'll relax for a minute and do it 3 times. All right, now one key piece to squat mobility is ankle mobility. I frequently see people with stiff ankles try to squat, and because they're stiff here, their knees stay way back and it causes their butt to go way back, which causes their chest to come way forward. And especially as they try to get lower, they end up rounding the spine, or they're not able to shift their weight properly in the middle of their foot, and they end up loading up their low spine. So, 2 major parts of the calf muscle, your gastrocnemius, your soleus. Bottom of your calf muscle is your soleus, and this is called a soleus stretch. With a toe on the bench, leaning forward, I'm gonna drive this heel toward the floor as far as possible. And you should feel this stretch pretty much right underneath your Achilles. Gonna hold this for 30 seconds on each side. Maybe once, maybe twice. When you have good ankle mobility and your knees are able to track a ways forward, it allows me to sit more upright in a squat, thus reducing shear force in my low spine. Now there's no one size fits all for squatting, but that is a helpful tip. If you have low back problems, you tend to hinge forward and feel a lot of pressure there. Now the other side of my ankle, I'm gonna stretch the dorsicalf. So with my knees out wide, toes are against the ground, and really just gonna use my body weight to sit on my ankles. Feel the stretch right in the base of the ankle. Gonna hold this for about 30 seconds. All right, feeling loose, feeling limber, ready to squat. Stay tuned next week for a couple of how-tos and how-not-tos with the back squat. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. There'll be a full overview in the description below. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Instagram at CoachDJ_LivWel. We'll see you next week.